And in just a moment's notice, Horry County officials deemed a Myrtle Beach condo unsafe. Now, that was back in early October.
The move forced hundreds of people to move out, leaving them homeless and in the dark about what would come next. A week later, some of those residents filed a lawsuit claiming the building's management company and HOA knew the building was damaged.
Our investigative reporter, Ali Espinosa, has been digging deeper into the claims of ongoing issues dating back nearly 3 decades.
Millions of vacationers flock to the Grand Strand every year to enjoy world-class golf, visit attractions, and stay in oceanfront properties along our sandy beaches. One of those properties is the 22-story Renaissance Towers, which is part of the Myrtle Beach Resort. Hundreds called condos inside the building home until October 7, 2022. That's the day Horry County Code Enforcement deemed it unsafe. Inspection reports and repair permits say an engineer named Timothy Donahue inspected the building that day. They said the damage was so extreme, no one should go inside. An incident report shows hundreds of those condo owners and renters had less than an hour to grab what they could and leave. And while it's not clear just how many people were forced out, we know authorities evacuated more than 300 units. The property management company Empress Management emailed residents later on October 7th saying the building's foundation was deteriorating and it was, quote, substantially worse than the, quote, previous analysis was able to show. The email also said residents needed to stay out until the building's steel frame could be secured. A contract obtained by WMBF News through a Freedom of Information Act request between Horry County and the company hired, called Procon, show all restorations for the building should be finished no later than April of this year. Residents decided to take action, filing a class action lawsuit less than a week after the building was deemed unsafe against Renaissance Towers HOA board. The lawsuit claims condo owners had to live in tents at a nearby campground because they weren't able to get into their units. Attorney Elliot Quinn represents several owners and describes what his clients went through the night they had to evacuate.
They weren't told how long they would be gone. They thought it may be an hour or two. So they left medication that they need to take on a daily basis in the building. They didn't know that they were going to need to pack all of their clothes. They've now had to buy an entirely new wardrobe. They left computers or identifying documents, passports, birth certificates in the building and haven't had any opportunity to get them.
But Quinn and the lawsuit claim the HOA and management company could have stepped in sooner, preventing residents from having to leave in the first place. The lawsuit claims building managers knew for more than 5 years that Renaissance Towers foundation was corroding, and not only delayed repairs, but finally brought in engineers to inspect the tower's foundation as a result of the deadly June 2021 tower collapse in Surfside, Florida. But Quinn believes, and according to the lawsuit, the board members of the Renaissance Towers may have known about this for some time.
This board knew years ago, at least 5 or 6 years ago, of these problems in the building, had been told that they needed to be repaired, and then instead of addressing these issues, did other repairs to non-life safety, non-structural elements of the building and delayed repairing these issues.
And while this lawsuit claims at least 5 years of negligence, the HOA's lawyers are fighting back, claiming their clients cannot be sued over structural issues. Those attorneys say South Carolina's Nonprofit Corporation Act protects them unless residents can prove board members at that time intentionally broke the law or acted in bad faith. I spoke with a man who asked for his identity to be altered. He tells me he was Renaissance Towers head of maintenance 30 years ago. He says the original architect declared the building was unsafe in 1989, which is just 4 years after it opened.
It should have come down.
He says he and the original architect inspected the building in 1989, a few days after Hurricane Hugo slammed into the Grand Strand. He says they noticed a 2-inch crack on the side of the building that started at the first floor of the building and went all the way up to the roof.
He said the building was no longer safe to have any residents living in that building.
And this was in 1989?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, the man who says he was the former maintenance head tells me he lost his job after other employees heard him talking about the crack with the building's owners. He tells me he chose to speak up now after seeing WMBF News' reporting on the Renaissance Tower's current issues.
And did they care about the people that live there? Or the people that came down to vacation there? No.
I've emailed and called both the Renaissance Towers HOA board and Empress Management. They have not responded. As for the lawsuit, Quinn says he's in the process of hiring a private engineer to inspect the building. We'll let you know what that engineer finds and what happens with the lawsuit as it continues to move through the court system. In the studio, Ali Espinosa, WMBF News.